Today we'll be reviewing the OnePlus Nord N100. What's up guys, it's your boy Mr. K back with another video. Hope you're all doing well. Just a quick side note before we get into the main video, I would just say stick around to the end of the video if you guys are interested in my own opinion of the product. Is it worth it in 2022? Without further ado, let's get started. Starting off with the positives of this device. The first positive is how affordable it is. This device is priced between £99 and £170 depending on the retailers that you purchase it from and if you're buying it second or first hand. But don't get me wrong, although it is on the budget side, although it is cheaper than most phones, you're not losing out on a lot of quality that you think you actually might. The only thing that you can visually see that they may or may not have cheaped out on was actually the plastic back of this device. But in my books, I feel like this is better because it's more protected, it's less likely to break in different ways. But that's just my own opinion. The next thing I love about this device is the fact that it has 6.52 inches of screen with 1600 by 720 pixels. This makes the images really deep and vivid and great for scrolling through YouTube, or if you're just recording or you're just watching something, you can really get the depth of the images that you would want from a high range phone, but you're getting on a low range phone. And because of the massive screen size, it really helps you get really immersed into what you're watching, what you're making, what game you're playing. It just really helps with the immersion because it does have a hole punch design. So it does have a hole punch for the front camera, so you're maximizing the screen space. And I've experienced no problems with swiping. Everything's fast. As soon as I click on it, it immediately opens. When I swipe, it happens straight away. There's no latency or little to no latency, which is amazing. But I will go into more detail about latency and delays and stuff like that a little bit later in the review. The next positive is the actual battery life of this device. The battery life of this device is absolutely amazing. OnePlus claims the battery lasts about 15 hours, but when I personally have used it, it's lasted a maximum of a day and a little bit, which is crazy because I expected to charge it after the first day, but when I didn't, I was absolutely shocked. Although it does have a little bit longer of a charging time, but this doesn't really affect me since I'm a person that charges it overnight. Not sure how safe that is, but I'm that type of person, so it doesn't really bother me as much as other people will. And it takes about 135 minutes to charge, and it has no fast charging options. Pretty much the final positive of this device is the camera. The camera's able to take photos good enough that you can put them on your WhatsApp status, but not good enough to put in a professional picture gallery, let's say. It can't compare to these £500 to £1,000 phones, but it definitely does feel like a mid-range device that can take photos good enough for you to view and say, yeah, this was a good quality photo I can look at and smile at, but not bad enough that you have to delete the photo multiple times and get a great angle and great lighting to take a good photo. It does a lot of that for you. It allows you to take a good photo in pretty much any angle. I'll pop a photo now that I just took quickly with little to no effort, and it took a pretty decent photo, which is great. But this is something that you would generally expect for cameras around this price range anyway. Now it's time for the main problems I've had with this device. The main problem I've had with this device is something that happens after you update it. After you update it to Android 11 Oxygen OS, people say that the battery life starts to decrease rapidly and your phone doesn't last as long as it should be. I personally have not experienced this. They may have already fixed this bug, or I'm just a very lucky person who's updated their phone and hasn't experienced this. But people have stated they have felt a rapid decline in the battery life as soon as they updated it, or just in general had battery life problems. But I personally have not experienced it. If you are considering purchasing this device, I would say be a little bit wary because there is a possibility you may have battery life problems. The next problem that I really found annoying about this device is the fact that it has no water protection whatsoever. It has no IP rating. And I'm someone that's always outdoors and it always rains and I just continue swiping on my phone while walking or something like that and rain gets on it. And I don't really think anything of it. But with this device, you really need to be careful, because if any water manages to get into any part of your phone, it will damage or break it. So I would say you have to be really careful around water with this device. Other phones have some form of water protection, but this phone has none whatsoever. But this is to be expected for the price that you pay. Low range devices typically don't have a lot of water protection to begin with. But if you are purchasing this device, I would say just be a little more careful around water than you would with another phone, maybe like an iPhone, let's say. In the long term, I do believe that this phone will become very problematic for its users, because it has started to show signs of slowing down, not being as fast as it used to be when I first got it. But it is still working perfectly fine, but there is signs of slowing down, and I don't think this is gonna change with the multiple updates that Android does provide. I feel like it's going to continue to get slower and slower until it gets to the point where you can no longer use it. But this isn't in the near future. This is quite a few years away, but I would say that this phone has become slightly slower from when I just got it, but it's not too much of a problem right now. But I would say just be a little bit careful if you plan to have this phone for more than 36 months, let's say. I would say be a little bit careful. And pretty much the final problem that I had with this device is that I have experienced some Bluetooth connection issues. This is primarily when connecting it to speakers, not really headphones. I've tried turning it on and off, turning Bluetooth on and off, turn everything. I've tried every single method to try and make this connect, and it just hasn't really worked. It kind of decides when it wants to work, kind of decides when it doesn't want to work. It's kind of up to the phone. Currently it's been working for about 2 weeks straight without any problems, but I'm just waiting for that fateful day when I try and connect my speaker and it just doesn't connect, seemingly out of the blue. But I have done some research and it may or may not be because my phone's on for too long or something like that. But as long as it's not happening now, I don't really have a problem. Although I would say to you guys, be careful. But now it's time for the conclusion. In conclusion, I would recommend this device. It's highly affordable for the majority of people, and you're not losing out on loads of features that these new generation iPhones, Samsungs actually have. You still get a decent quality camera, a great battery life. You get all of these features are paying a much reduced price. In my book, I think it's a steal. But anyway, that was my own opinion of the product. If you guys are interested in any other videos, any other tech videos, any other phone videos, I would consider subscribing, support the channel. And yeah, it's been your boy Mr. K. Thanks for watching, and yeah.